Do you know what types of images that you need for your business and how much they impact your brand? With our attention spans decreasing by the minute, one way to stay relevant and visible with your audience is with images of yourself and your business. In this episode, I'm joined by personal branding photographer Grace Costa, who gives us guidance on the 4 different types of images you need for your business, as well as some practical tips on how to organize them and use them for maximum impact. I know from personal experience how professional images can enhance your brand, increase your confidence, and ultimately drive more sales. So, no matter what stage of business you're at, I know you're going to love this episode with Grace and her advice and insights to help you connect with your audience. Welcome to the Powerful Content Podcast, your go-to source for content creation, strategy, and business inspiration. I'm your host, Mel Daniels, content strategist, coach, and speaker, empowering women across the globe to grow their business with powerful content that connects, nurtures, and converts. So, if you're ready to create standout content that gets you noticed and remembered, or build an aligned audience who love you and are ready to buy from you, you're in the right place. I believe that content has the power to connect us all. It's up to you how you use it. Listen in for genuine and insightful chats with guests, as well as practical tools and strategies from me. It's so lovely to have you here. Let's dive into the show. I acknowledge the Wongal people of the Eora Nation as the traditional custodians of the country that I am recording from today. I recognise their continuing connection to the land and waters. I pay my respects to elders past and present and extend that respect to all First Nation people listening today. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to episode 131 of the Powerful Content Podcast. It's absolutely so lovely to have you here today, and it's so lovely to have my guest with me today, personal branding photographer Grace Costa, to talk all things images for your business. Welcome to the podcast, Grace.
Thanks for having me, Mel. I am representing the nation's capital. I don't think you've had any Canberrans on your show.
I have not. You are the very first.
There you go. I'm stoked.
How funny that you should know that. Yeah, you are absolutely the first. So it is absolutely freezing here in Sydney today. I can only imagine it's pretty cold down there too.
Yeah, look, we're not going to compete on the weather because in winter, Canberra trumps all.
Now, before we get stuck into talking about images today, Grace, many people get to a point in their business where they are so good at doing what it is that they are good at doing that they start to then teach others how to do the doing. And I know that you're in that process at the moment. You're in that space. So I'd really love for you to talk to what that journey has looked like for you so far.
So I guess I started sharing knowledge as my craft. I mastered my craft over 20 odd years. I studied photography, and I guess naturally you start to share the knowledge along the way and start to teach others. So for me, that looked like creating small camera workshops for beginners. And then that developed into some masterclasses. So the National Portrait Gallery invited me to teach some masterclasses on posing portraiture. And, you know, I've done some classes for Nikon and the Refocus Retreat and things like that. Now that sort of aspect of teaching and sharing knowledge has turned into my podcast, The Photo Diaries, also turned into a mentoring space for my business. So it's another revenue stream in my business where I'm helping photographers elevate their career, their profile, if they want to go down the artist space and, you know, win some really great photography awards like the National Photographic Portrait Prize. I've been in a couple of times. Help them build their profile, but also help them build their business, because a lot of creatives struggle in the business side of things and they think that's just the way it is. And it doesn't have to be that way. We can learn, we can get a mentor, we can get a coach and learn to be a thriving photography business. So that's where I come in.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I know that you've got some things in the pipeline as well for the photographers out there in that space of mentoring them and helping them run their own photography business.
Yeah, so that looks like there's going to be some webinars and some trainings around marketing your business as a photographer, because that's a huge gap for photographers in my area. You know, they kind of have that excuse, I hate marketing myself. I feel too shy, this or that. But I think when they realize that you're not necessarily marketing yourself, you're marketing what you're here to offer, and you're building awareness of your offering and how you help others. And when people start to realize that, they open their mind to feeling like, okay, I can get into marketing. Let's see what it's all about. And I teach in a way that comes from my perspective of how I learned to run a business. Because in 20 years as a photographer, I've always been employed for other people's studios, and I never ran my own studio until now. So I'm showing people what I learned along the way and how I've managed to become a successful 6-figure business. And it wasn't just playing ignorant and marketing and strategy. It was diving in and getting in amongst it. So I'm teaching that. I'm teaching client workflow, editing workflow, so people can be faster and more efficient in their work and get more clients.
I love being faster and more efficient. And I would just love to pick out something that you said there around the fact that photographers in particular don't love to market themselves. I think that we all struggle with that at some point in time, don't we? We all struggle with, putting ourselves out there and showcasing who we are and what we stand for within our content. So I think that everyone will be able to definitely learn from your words of wisdom today. I just want to go back a second, if I can, Grace, to your journey and to how you went from an employed photographer to owning your own business to now helping other photographers running their own business. I feel like that journey is often fraught with imposter syndrome. Did you feel that at any point in that journey when you started teaching other photographers?
No, I didn't feel it because it came naturally to me. And I've always in the back of my mind wanted to help the photographer I once was.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, when I was studying photography at TAFE, I didn't know many photographers that were in the industry. I didn't have a mentor. So I found it really hard to figure out what to charge, how to do a pricing structure, things like that. But then when I became a photographer for the Department of Defense, and that was the majority of my career, was a corporate photographer for the military, I had mentors in that role. They weren't paid. They were my supervisors, right? And they showed me everything, and nothing was uncapped. It was just open book, and they were there to nurture me, watch me grow, and give me everything for free, because, it just came out of their heart. And that's the type of photographer I am, and I want to continue to be, is to help other photographers from my heart, to help them succeed, because I know what it's like when you really want to be good, you really want to be the best, and you need the guidance along the way.
I think that's a beautiful story. And, one that you don't hear often, that you weren't suffering from imposter syndrome. I think that that's something that a lot of people do suffer from. But the fact that you had such an amazing experience with other mentors in your life and you want to continue that legacy, I think is really beautiful. Let's take a switch now and talk to images and the types of images that we might need for our business. I think that everyone understands that, at the core of how people connect with us and a cohesive brand is how we visually represent ourselves. And, as the queen of images, I'm going to call you, what are the different types of images that we might need for our business? And perhaps we can kind of talk about each one in depth.
So the reason, first of all, you need images in your business is to humanize your brand and to represent your brand. So there's so many brands out there. Think about a time when you've gone on a website and you're looking for a service, but there's no sign of human existence. And then you question, is this link, is this website legit? Is it, is it one of the fake ones? I always look for the secure lock in the URL. And I just wish that there was a little human element in there showing me who works in this company, who's there to serve me. Is it going to be a real person? So we want to take away that question for our potential customers. And we want to create imagery that represents our company, our brand, our personal brand, and help them feel confident in purchasing from us and working with us. So that can look like, to start with, simple headshots. Now, your simple headshot technically is shoulders and above. That is a traditional headshot. That type of thing you're going to use, think for your LinkedIn profile image, or something that people need to start doing, which I'm reminding my branding clients of all the time, is to change your Gmail icon. At the moment, your email icon at the top, when you drop into somebody's inbox, is just a colored circle with your initial. If you can change that out and put your face in it, that is a very simple way to stay top of mind for every single person that comes in your inbox, and vice versa.
I'm loving that little tip. I'm going to go do it straight away.
Yes. I'll send you a link how to do it with a little video. Because you want to remain top of mind, and the headshot is the simplest way to do it in the Gmail. Then you can put it on your signature, your email signature block. You can create something fancy there. But you've got your headshots now. The second one is your personal branding images, and that's probably the largest component of your image library of what you're going to start to build in your business. Now, personal branding is technically images of the person, the business owner, the brand. If they're a team, it's of your team as well. They are full-length shots, they are half shots, they are doing shots, they are headshots as well. But they're mostly images to sort of showcase your personality as a brand. And that might mean they're images of you doing something. It's showing you as the person. It might be showing you doing actions that are related to your everyday business. So for me, it would be, shots of me using my camera, packing my camera bag, writing a shot list, that type of thing. For a coach or a consultant, I do a lot of imagery for businesses like that. It's them usually at a table or at a teaching a workshop. They can be at a whiteboard, doing some illustrations or some graphics there to demonstrate something. They can be sitting with a client, and that can easily be achieved by, borrowing your friend, or if we're shooting at a co-working space, you can ask, somebody just for 2 minutes of their time to pose as the client. So we want to show that what it actually looks like to work with you as a business, so that your audience can imagine themselves working with you, and they can imagine, that feeling and that environment that's going to be the case when they hire you. Apart from that, personal branding, you need to think about how you want your business to be represented. So when a client onboards with me, this is one of the questions I ask them. How do you want to be represented in your brand? Do you want to be fun and cheeky? Do you want to be formal and serious? Do you want to be portrayed as the expert? Do you want to be portrayed as the forever friend, or the caring and supportive person? They're just some ideas you can sort of fly with and start to think about, okay, what can I ask my photographer for when we're creating images around that feeling and that representation?
Okay, I'm going to interrupt you for a second if I can, Grace, because there is just so much information there. I just want to ask a few questions about this, because I know that a lot of my listeners are probably thinking to themselves right now, oh my goodness, yes, I definitely do need headshots and I definitely do need personal brand images, but there's always a but. So though that but might be, at what point in your business should you actually consider hiring a professional photographer to take these personal branding images and these headshots?
Well, that can be the first year of your business, as soon as you've got the website, right? Because your first impression counts, and it takes 5.64 seconds. Somebody is viewing your website homepage, and they're focusing on your landing image. So if you have a generic image or nothing at all, or something that's just a graphic that doesn't connect to them on a human to human level, they're going to shift. They're going to get off there and look for some other service. So you've got an opportunity right from when you're a brand new business who has a website to put your face on there immediately so that people can connect with you. Why should you wait? Why should you wait for that? You want clients straight away, right? So as soon as you're ready for clients, that's when you're ready for images.
Yeah, I think that's a great tip. Thanks, Grace, because we do tend to put off, I think, especially as women, we tend to put off having ourselves photographed until we lose a bit of weight, until we have our hair done, until we earn this amount of money, until we this, we put all of these milestones on it that we have to achieve, when really we should be just embracing who we are and embracing the fact that in order to get more clients, we do need to have that human connection, and to have that human connection, photographs are the best way to actually do that.
Well, with that, one of the reasons people feel like that, it's not just women, it's men as well. I have a lot of men requesting retouching these days. But, if you find a good photographer that you connect with and that you can trust, it's their job to help you feel comfortable in front of the camera. It's their job to pose you so that you look flattering, that your body is elongated, your posture is upright, you're wearing the right clothes that make you feel good and look good, and they're right for your shape. A photographer is going to pose you in a way that expresses your personality, that shows confidence. And then after the photo shoot, 99% of people say they feel so much more confident in their business and showing up in their business because they've had their images taken.
Yeah,
it's a transformation.
Yeah, from personal experience, I would have to agree with that, Grace. I've had 2 professional photo shoots, and both of them have just been such an amazing experience in terms of my own self-development. And I think that if we can look at it from that perspective as well, like that increase in confidence, the increase in the wanting to show up, the visibility that becomes a result of that. I use my photos all the time, especially in social media. It just makes the content process so much easier to be able to have it. So I love the fact that you've said that it's really, I guess, up to the photographer to be able to help you feel comfortable and make you look good. So we shouldn't actually worry about that. We should go into the photo shoot just having confidence. Yeah, having confidence and trusting our photographer. Okay, I love that.
And Photoshop exists for a reason. Let's just put it there.
Okay, so we've spoken about headshots. We've spoken about personal brand images. Are there any other types of images we need for our business?
Okay, we can look at stock images. Now, there are a variety of different stock images out there, and some businesses don't even know about them. So there's Australian-based ones like brand Eliza, Sarah, Melbourne photographer. She's created her own brand.
And we love Sarah. Sarah's been on the podcast as well. Yes, so I'll go and link to her episode too. Fabulous.
Perfect. Yeah, so you can look through her image gallery and find something suitable for your brand. Also, of course, there's Adobe stock, there's Wise stock, there's a whole range of stock libraries out there. But look for Australian-based ones, because what I find with the American and worldwide style stock libraries, it's very difficult to find imagery that fits an Australian brand, especially of people, because the people look different. They're wearing different clothes. They just have a different Americanized look. Australians have a specific flavor. So that's something to be aware of in stock libraries. But you could grab a bunch of stock libraries stock images every now and then, so you can start to build that into your image library, and they can be quite generic stuff. But to build more brand specific stock images, that's something you would request from your branding photographer. So during a branding shoot, we need to add to our shot list those sort of stocky kind of images that we're going to use on our opt-in freebie cover page, your blog post feature image, or feature within the blog post. You always need images in your blog posts. You're going to use them in your marketing, in your Facebook or Instagram ads, things like that. And they can be images of, say, for instance, it can be a flat lay of a tabletop with a keyboard, with your passport, with some sunglasses, with a notebook, with a margarita, and your hands on the margarita, that type of imagery. That's a stock image that you can use, somewhere in your business. You can, start to collect images from inspiration. So when you're on Instagram, you can create a board and you can start saving images that you see other businesses use and start saving them into a folder that you can share with your photographer next time you're booking one. And then you can say, look, I want this style of stock images that are branded to me. And to make them more branded to you, think about what your business specifically is using as far as the tools of the trade, as far as your branded content. Say you've got beautiful oracle cards that are branded in your business colors or whatever. You've got notebooks that have got your label on the front, that type of thing. So you're going to use props that are related and branded to your business for those type of stock images.
Grace, do you think that more photographers are doing this type of photography as part of their content packages? I feel like that this is something that a lot of people don't realize that could be a potential add-on for photographers.
For me, it's not an add-on. It's just part of the actual shoot, and it's part of the shot list. So, I'll write the shot list that are all about the person as far as their personal brand. And then I'll put some stock images on the shot list to say, all right, we need to capture your the playing cards you've created or the journal that you've made as part of the shot, as part of the shoot.
Yeah, okay. And I think that that's a really great point for my listeners to know as well, that they're the type of things that you could potentially ask for as well.
Yeah, you need to ask for it and start collecting inspiration from Pinterest or Instagram so that you can bring it to your photographer so she or he knows what you have in mind.
Fantastic.
You can also create your own flat lay images. I used to teach how to do this. It's really simple. You can just, photograph, say, things on a flat surface. You can just buy a A2 whiteboard from Officeworks, lay out some of your tools of the trade or some of the elements that related to your brand, and put it next to a big window, photograph from above using your phone. Totally simple, and you've got some of your own stock images.
Fun. All my listeners are going to go out there now and put their little bits and pieces and start taking some photos. If you do, tag us on Instagram.
Exactly.
Grace Costa and Mel Daniels, so you want to see them. Okay, so they're the three different types of images that every business should have, every brand should have, and there's one more.
One more. Else. Yeah, we've got storytelling images. So storytelling images are now the types of images that build the story around your brand. So for a recent brand I've been working for in Canberra, it's called the Seed Cycle. Their storytelling images are images related to how their product or their service is used. So we shot the girl with her hands on the bowl of salad with the seeds, with her hands, pouring a cup of seeds on top of the salad. That's a storytelling image. There's another girl in the kitchen with her yoga mat on the kitchen bench, and she's just about to eat some of the bliss balls that are made from those seeds. So we're seeing a bit of a lifestyle of how your product or service is used. We're building story around it, using elements and using the person, the doing, and the other environmental factors.
Okay, and I think that some people who perhaps might be a coach or a service provider of some description may feel like they don't have a story to tell with their images. So what kind of images should or could they be thinking about to tell stories in their business?
Okay, so for a recent business coach, she loves to do her planning on big butcher's paper with really big, thick, colorful textures. Right. So we photographed her doing that. That's the story. So that when people go to book her and they see imagery like that, they imagine, Becky's going to build this massive plan. And I'm a visual person, so I like the way she draws things on the big butcher's paper. I can imagine myself working with her. She's a podcaster as well, so there's images of her with the podcast mic, and her plan in front of her, things like that. A lot of planning, or just you got to think about what does it take to run my business. Let's photograph that.
Yeah. And I think there's lots of options when you think about it that way, of how you can actually be doing your podcasting. It's, with your podcast mic. If you're an author, it might be with your book. If you're a virtual assistant, it may be a particular way that you like to work, a particular thing that's always in the background. I don't know. Like there's lots of different ways that you can bring storytelling to your business. Okay, awesome. So we've covered off all of the different images now that you can use for your business. So let's just recap them. There is the headshots, the personal brand images, the stock images, and the storytelling images.
Perfect.
Fantastic. So now we have all of these images. What do we do with them? Where do we put them? And how do we, stay organized? Because I can imagine that, it's having so many of them, it can be difficult to know A, where to find them, and B, what to use where.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. So if you're working with a virtual assistant or an online business manager, they also are going to have access to your images. So you need to keep it organized. And this is the way you do it. You create a folder structure. So the first folder is your photo library or image library, whatever you want to call it, or brand library. There's 3 different names you can use. Then inside that folder, you've got headshots. Keep this one specifically for those tight headshots that you're going to use on a membership site or on your LinkedIn profile, or next time you're going to feature on someone's podcast, give them that headshot. So you've got the headshot folder. Next one, you've got your personal branding folder. Put all the personal branding shoot inside there. See if you can title them as well. That would come in handy if you had spare time to rename your files with your name and what the image is. This not only helps your VA search for these images, or you search for them when you're looking for them in Google Drive or Dropbox or wherever you choose to host them. It also helps when you're uploading them anywhere online. Okay, that's a good little tip. Then you've got your stock images. They should be in a separate folder, whether they're purchased or free, or the ones you've created yourself. Then you've got another folder, which is your storytelling images. So you've got that folder structure like that. That's basically it. Renaming them, using thoughtful titles for them as well for when you're uploading them to the web. And now let's talk about where you're going to use them. The possibilities are endless, or like pretty much endless. Okay, so we want to make sure that all our icons where we can use our headshot are now replaced with your fresh new headshot. That is your LinkedIn, your Google My Business, your Gmail or other mail system, your membership sites, anything like that. Even your Instagram, I would prefer to see somebody's human face than a logo on your Instagram profile image. So you're putting all your headshots there. Think about now all those other images, your personal branding images, your stock images. You're going to need them for your reel covers. A lot of people now, I'm noticing a new trend where people aren't necessarily using a static frame from the reel video itself. They're uploading a different cover image so that it's on brand. So, start considering using that, your reel covers. What about your carousel slides? You're going to use images there. You're going to use them in your PDF opt-ins. You're going to use them on the cover page for that. You're going to use your headshot on the intro page for that. You're going to use another headshot for the final page in that PDF opt-in. You're going to use them for your presentation. Next time you're giving a presentation to a business group, which I'm doing next week, you're going to put possibly a small image of yourself on the bottom of every slide if you want to do that, or just put it at the intro and the outro of the slide deck. How about your podcast artwork? What about all your marketing materials? How long do you want me to go, Mel?
I think that if anyone is wondering whether the return on investment for having images is viable, I think that this list is showing exactly that it is, that you do get so much value out of just a handful of your images. It's just amazing. But you can keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm noticing more and more, the more resources I'm creating, and a lot of your service-based followers and listeners are creating resources for their audience. Those cover pages for any of your digital assets, they should be branded by you, with your, color palette, with your theme, with your, tools, everything that's related to your business. I'm seeing more and more people who are presenting workshops that I'm attending, all their slide decks, sometimes every single slide has a picture of them as the main feature, and then the text on the side of that. So they're using them more and more. A lot of people are still blogging, and every blog needs imagery. So think about that. Even the feature image of your blog. A lot of people are writing articles on LinkedIn. Where do you think the image comes from? They need images in their library that they can access at the spur of the moment when they've, been inspired to write something quick. I've got quick access to my image library. Grab an image from there because it's all in a folder structure. You can access it easy, and away you go. So
So what I'm actually hearing, Grace, is not only are these images important for your business, but they are important in terms of a consistency of branding and a consistency of how we show up in the world. So thank you so much for sharing that wisdom today around the different types of images that we need for our businesses, as well as how we can use them, and particularly how we can organize them. I think that was a great tip in terms of the different levels of folders and where you can quickly and easily go and get them. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. Now, Grace, we're going to take a little bit of a turn here, and I'm all about women owning and using their superpowers. So what would you say is your superpower?
Well, I have many, just like other women, because we're women, we have a lot of superpowers. Besides making friends and networking, that's a superpower for me. I would say my main superpower is using my imagination, because as a photographer, I need to imagine what an image could look like. I need to imagine a potential of something. So using my imagination in my work, in my craft, and in my business, I think it's my superpower.
Oh, that's absolutely gorgeous. I love that. No one's actually said that that's their superpower. So I love that that's your superpower, Grace. And before we finish up today, do you have any final parting words of wisdom?
My words of wisdom would be, make an investment in your business imagery, because you will get the return on your investment. You will feel more confident. It will help you feel legitimate in your business, and you will feel on brand, and you can take on the world. So make an investment, and that's it.
Investment and take on the world. Beautiful final parting words of wisdom there. And if you would like to get a copy of Grace's free resource, A Guide for New Ways to Use Your Branding Photos, I mean, she listed quite a few in this podcast episode, but if you want to go and check that out, please do so. The link for that free resource will be inside of the show notes. So Grace, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today and sharing your wisdom with my listeners. I truly appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much, Mel. It was a joy to actually be with you today.
Thanks so much for listening. That's it for another week. To get more powerful content in your life, make sure you're following along on socials. My handle is @meldbusiness. And just in case you're wondering, the groovy music for this podcast was created by Just Here on SoundCloud. I'd also be super grateful if you took a moment to rate and review this podcast so more amazing women like you can experience the power of content. And if you're like, hell Mel, stop talking, I'm ready to work with you now, here's how we can work some powerful content magic together. Firstly, come and join the Content Effect, my membership inspiring women with service-based businesses to ditch the content chaos and start creating stand-out content that gets you noticed and makes sales. You can join us by using the link in the show notes, or just Google the Content Effect. The second way we can work together is via my one-on-one packages. We can create a sustainable content strategy or start to build out your client journey. It's up to you. Pop on over to meldbusinessservices.com.au/services to find out more. Until next time, have a beautiful week and embrace the power of your content.